Hello, Hinchley Wood Parents. I just want to give you a quick update of what's been happening in Elevate Club from a technical point of view. Why am I putting this on a video? Well, I think it's really important that we communicate with one another so we're able to help our students achieve their potential. And it's very hard to find a time when you're free, when we can get a hall. And so I figured if I created a video, I could give you all the information I want to share and you could watch it whenever it suited you. And then you can give me some feedback separately. I'm going to start off by explaining the motivation behind Elevate Clubs because not everyone was able to attend the presentation we gave at school before it began. So I'm just going to update you on what we've been doing and what we're planning to do going forward. So if you do have any questions, you can always email me. There's my email address. I've also given you my mobile number there, and I've allocated some times both at lunchtime and in the evening. So I'm trying to fit around your work schedules that if you do have any questions, we could have a telephone time and talk through your particular children's requirements, because everything here is going to be very generic and not about any particular child. So why do we have Elevate Clubs? Your typical school, and Hinchley Wood is no different, is not designed for dyslexics. So for dyslexics to achieve well in formal exams, they need additional support. And also for their self-esteem to be in good order when they leave, they need some extra support to understand their dyslexia and how it doesn't mean they're thick, it doesn't mean they're stupid, it just means they learn differently. So we want to help increase both their expectations of what they can achieve and their confidence in doing so. We're trying to make learning more enjoyable, and we're trying to equip them with skills before they get into year 10 and 11 and the workload really increases, and it's very hard to learn those skills then. So dyslexics and formal exams. Dyslexics are 100% at a disadvantage when it comes to formal exams, because formal exams require doing a lot of reading, do a lot of memorizing, and then a lot of regurgitating and writing. And they are not strengths of dyslexics. And yet, in the real world, the strengths that dyslexics have of being great innovators, being creative, being good communicators, really help them to excel in the real world. But very often they need these formal exams to open the doors to get into the higher institutions, the higher education institutions, or into the careers. And that's why we really do want to help them do well in their formal exams. So this is what years 10 and 11 should look like. They should attend lessons, take great notes, complete all the coursework, create revision notes, learn, revise, and spend the last month doing past papers. If they do all that, they will achieve their potential in GCSEs. But there are other things besides that that impact on the grades they get. The access arrangements that are in place are very important, and I won't go into detail about that here, but I do think it's worth maybe having a conversation with some of you about access arrangements for your children. They need to have great revision notes, and it's hard for dyslexics to create great revision notes, and so we do an awful lot of that in the tutor-led sessions. They need to be able to read quickly and accurately. If they don't read quickly and accurately, one, it slows them down and they don't write as much and therefore don't get as many marks. And if they don't read accurately, they can go off on tangents. More and more, they're getting SPAG marks, which I think is really unfair. It really goes against dyslexics. So the literacy is measured when they do biology and history and physics exams, which just seems very unfair. But we want to help them improve their spelling and grammar, and we want to teach them how to learn. And so we want to improve their working memory, but we also want to teach them how to learn facts. We find that schools are very good at teaching biology or history, but not necessarily teaching children how to learn. And that can be incredibly subjective, so they have to understand their learning styles better. We want them to have legible, quick handwriting, because if an examiner cannot understand their handwriting, then they are at a disadvantage and can lose marks. And ideally, we want them to be very efficient at touch typing, and we want them to be able to type their exams, and that's where access arrangements comes in. But if they cannot type quickly, then there's no point trying to fight that battle for access arrangements. So once GCSEs start and they're doing coursework and trying to do homework and revision, they are very, very busy and they don't have time to improve their handwriting and to learn to touch type and improve their spelling and grammar. So we're trying to do all that beforehand. And this is the work that we've done so far with your children. We've tried to explain that though it's going to be difficult, dyslexics can excel in exams, and we've given them real life examples of dyslexics doing well. We've introduced positive role models and we've shown them successful dyslexics via videos. We've shown them the advantages of learning to touch type. We've done touch typing. They've gone through the tutor-led classes, which have talked about organisation and learning styles and teaching them different methods of revision, and they're currently doing handwriting. We did Reading Road at first, but as we know, you know that Reading Road, the owner died and his widow decided not to keep up. So I've been doing a lot of research to find equivalent or better. I believe I've found much better solutions now. So that's good. I did dyslexia screening on them all because I wanted to know what their strengths and weaknesses were, so I could find solutions that help them with their weaknesses. And we've looked at technology to help them be organized, to remind them to do things, and we've used Quizlets to help them revise, and we want to do that more going forward. So that's what we've done. Why did I do dyslexic screening? I needed to know what their strengths and weaknesses were. I used that to help me find solutions to help develop their weaknesses, but it also gives me baseline scores against which I can measure progress. So as we put interventions in place, I can measure how effective they are. And I think it's very important for students to understand what their strengths and weaknesses are for their own awareness, but it also helps them to self-advocate, which is really important through life. So dyslexia screening measured each of these areas. I can explain them in detail if you need to when we speak on the phone, or you can look them up online. You can get some really good definitions there. And these are the groups for the whole, these are the scores for the whole group. So we've looked at reading speed, which are these, and from that reading speed test, I got the reading age, and we see that quite a few of the children, well, all but one, or maybe all but two, are reading well below their reading age, and that puts them at a real disadvantage because you know, if you read an exam paper slowly, you cannot get the same marks. We then looked at reading comprehension and again got some scores there, and we see again that there are some areas that require attention, and very often it's possible to read quickly but not really understand what you're reading, and therefore some of these scores require a bit more investigation. We looked at spelling. I think everyone in the class struggles with spelling. Phonological awareness, which is different to phonics. It's how they hear the sounds, and a few people in the group really struggle with phonological awareness. Almost everyone struggles with eye tracking. And I've noticed now that there's quite a few people struggling with working memory, but I haven't highlighted them, so I apologize with that. Processing speed, almost everyone was pretty good, and with auditory discrimination, almost everyone except two were good or excellent. So if you are surprised by your child's results, it is only a screen, and with another secondary group that I run, all the children did a second dyslexia screen, and so if you feel that your children you're surprised, you would have expected different results, I would really recommend doing a second screen yourself at home. This product costs £12 for a year, and if you use my discount code, I think you can get 10% off. But if you do have any questions at all, it really is worthwhile doing a second can screen. And based on the screening results that I've got, we need to work on working memory, phonological awareness, eye tracking, improve fluency, comprehensive spelling and grammar, and auditory. Oh, we're not doing anything on auditory discrimination. And so if your child does struggle with auditory discrimination, we'll have a separate conversation and I'll give you advice on where to go. I'm not doing it in the sessions because only 2 children have an issue with this, and it's an expensive solution, so I wouldn't expect all the children to buy that solution. So my suggestions going forward is that everyone continues with touch typing, and then they just select 2 of the solutions that meet their particular weakness, and we'll start with that. So they'll do touch typing for 15 minutes, and then each of these other solutions for 15 minutes, and that will take our 45 technical session every week. And at home, ideally, they'll do 10 minutes each, 30 minutes a day. And over the summer holidays are a really key time for dyslexics to catch up while everyone else is sliding back. And then they could work on touch typing plus 3 solutions over the summer holidays. And the solutions they worked on will not be academic. They'll be games like target shooting with engaging eyes. Working memory is playing games, and so it's a lot more pleasant than doing comprehension and maths at home. And I've always done this with my children. So these are the solutions that are required and the children that need them. And these are the costs of the solutions if you were to pay monthly for each one. So if you were doing all 4 for a 7-week period, they cost £65 a term, but I don't think anyone will be doing all 4. They'll be doing 2 or 3, and so 2 solutions should cost about 32, well, just over £32 for half a term. So we are budgeting on £25 for every 7-week period. So I hope that we will be able to do that for all the children. So if we pay £25 per student for 7 weeks, they will be able to access all of the different solutions. And I thought I'd just show you the typing results. They are definitely improving with their typing, some scoring very high. 34 words per minute is absolutely excellent with very, very good accuracy. And the total hours typed shows that nobody is really doing enough at home to really improve their touch typing, but also some of you have bought Nessie fingers, so this does not represent what your child is doing because they're working on another solution. If you want to see on typing.com how much your child has been done, you can always go on to the lessons tab, and at the very top it will tell you your stats for the last 24 hours, the last 77 days, or all time. And here I see that this child has done almost 6 hours in total, and this is his average speed and his average accuracy, and these are the problem keys. So that is definitely worth looking. So our plans going forward are we're going to differentiate what each student is working on depending on what they need, so they won't all be working on the same thing. We would really encourage you to do more work from home. If you could encourage them to work from home, that would really help. We're going to try and move the club sessions to the computer room. That way we can do more on the computer, particularly helping them create revision materials. So that's using Quizlets, but they need to bring in work they need to learn. And if they don't, we'll do it on English language, which everyone needs to do, but it would be much better if they brought in the history or the biology or the physics that they need to learn, and we will help them learn that. So every week we'd really appreciate it if you help them to bring in their blind keyboards, their folders and their exercise books. And talking of the summer holidays, I always use the summer holidays to really help my kids do better, and this is the product I used. I'm not using it in Elevate Club because it's a bit too expensive, but I really would recommend you doing it. And if enough of you want to do that, I'll try and do a group purchase for you. If you have any questions or feedback, as I've said, you can email me. or you can call me at these times. Ideally, if you could email me saying I will be calling you on the 3rd of May, sometime, about 1:45 or something like that, then I can try and stack you up so you're not all trying to call at exactly the same time. So I hope you found this useful, and I look forward to any feedback or answering any questions that you have. Thanks a lot.